Welcome to Startup Confidential, what industry insiders will never tell you that you need to know if you're building a consumer brand. With your host, best-selling author of Ramping Your Brand, Dr. James Richardson. Let's do this.
Welcome to episode 145. Hiring execs who can ride the ramp begins with your attitude. It's not uncommon for new, naive founders in any industry to begin their first exec hiring process with a dangerously accurate confession. God, I suck at marketing. We need help. This is actually a good starting point. When you can begin a hiring round with an honest, self-aware assessment of your relative incompetency in the function under consideration. But if you then overreact to this by filtering for functional veterans with classical training, you will have easily made a mistake. Your brain is telling you to hire a perfectionist, someone who won't make mistakes like the many mistakes that you know you have made. No! Never hire a perfectionist as a functional leader of a high-growth company, ever! Especially in a high-growth early-stage company. What you need is a mad, hungry experimenter and motivator of experiments. Oh, but wait, hold on. What makes you think that you even deserve above-average talent? I mean, do you deserve it? Are you even ready to work with people like this? Are you perhaps the biggest problem in your hiring process? This painful reality is what I want to drill into on this episode, no matter how uncomfortable it makes you. Because as you may have guessed, listening to this podcast, your squirming discomfort is my deepest pleasure. Because I have tickled the nerve that you need to deal with. Here are two common blind spots that founders have as they fantasize about hiring superb, functional leaders to unlock growth and efficiency. Blind spot number one, the owner-employee divide. You, dear listener, are an owner. And if you're listening to my content, I hope you're a majority owner. Regardless of the cap table makeup at your company, you're an owner, and for owners, there's no actual boundary between their self and the company. I know this because I'm an owner too, and I'm a solopreneur. Turning off is very hard. There's often only a partner or children to end the wheel spinning, briefly. But with enough therapy and maturity and yelling from your spouse, you can learn to insert a little buffer between your soul and your company and turn off the company maybe for the length of one Netflix movie. Other than that, there is no separation. And there's not going to be, because you put everything into this thing. Your motivation is heavily intrinsic. It bubbles up from within you like your blood circulates in your body. That's how intimate your company is to you. But you are about to hire someone who is an employee, and employees have hunger for one thing: their careers. And that will never change. Even if they become highly functional team players who kick ass at your company, they will always remain anchored in their career hunger. You will not change that unless you make them a high percentage equity owner, which you're unlikely to do. Now, some founders do offer highly experienced folks a lot of equity. And that's because they get what I'm talking about before they set up their company. And they don't want to deal in any way with leaders who think like employees. They see that actually as a greater risk than giving too much equity to them. These are usually serial entrepreneurs with crack teams that follow them when they clicketh their fingers. Okay, but most of you don't have the crack team, and you're not going to do what I just said. So you're going to retain control over the company, and you're going to have employees who are W-2 salary recipients. That's fine. Just accept that they're managing a career. And I'm really speaking here to American founders hiring in the United States, where work is not only an obsession, it's our number one social identity. You've got to learn how to tap in to the executive's career hunger as a founder. That's how you're going to lead them well. Everything about the opportunity you're pitching them and their time at your company has to constantly be narrated to them as feeding their career and how awesome it is for their career. An employee's motivation is heavily extrinsic. They are not, however, going to come into an interview and say, hey man, my motivation is super extrinsic. Can we begin with a compensation package? They're not going to do that because that's a crappy performance in an interview. But that's exactly what they're primarily concerned about. And if you are naive and think otherwise, that's when you're going to be led astray by a charming bullshit artist and not probe and really get behind the curtain of each candidate's performance. Okay, blind spot number 2. Admitting your incompetency. When you are hiring above average talent, it means you are hiring functional experts in marketing, sales, ops, who are far better than you. So you are admitting your lack of competence by hiring them. So cry into a blankie, hug your dog, and get over it. One thing I've seen too many times is a hiring process that goes on forever and then suddenly aborts because the naive founder is unconsciously arguing with every candidate. Well, are you better than me? Now you've wasted time. Your time and the other person's time. You've definitely wasted your own time. All because you didn't actually come to terms with your arrogance before you started. You must so utterly and completely own your limited competence before you seek out superb talent. Someone who's obviously better than you. Now, if you don't want to do this, if you really honestly think you're the jack of all 4P trades with no track record, you're the marketing guru, the sales guru, the ops guru, and you really just want to hire somebody to get shit done, which you know what to do, then go for that, But with that attitude, you will never have an above average functioning team because everyone on your team will be a meek little W2 executive coming to you nonstop 24/7 with permission to do everything, including wipe their ass, because you brought that arrogant CEO attitude into the interview process. If you act like you know better, you'll only attract average talent. I have seen this so many times, it makes me want to pull my eyeballs out. This is no different than dating. The humble guy eventually attracts the attractive and very talented partner for life. The arrogant guy attracts a young, stupid, sorority manipulator for a short-term boobity-bang-bang relationship. The problem with admitting one's relative incompetence before you begin hiring is really bad among American entrepreneurs. It's our shame over incompetence in a work-first, work-obsessed, competency-obsessed empire. Never show your weakness. Competency arrogance is a modern plague in American professional life and on LinkedIn. I don't know how this got so out of hand, but it did, and it's really bad among males. If you cannot admit that you are less functional, less competent than people you are interviewing for a functional executive role and process that shame, get rid of it, and expunge it like a demon, you are not going to have a good hiring process at all. Your interviews will shite. And you're not going to have a functional relationship with that person once they're on board because you're basically going to hate them. You will fight with them. I swear to God, you're going to unconsciously resent them and hate them and argue with them. One of my favorite clients taught me the phrase that you need to tell yourself again and again to expunge the demon before you go and hire. I've got to fire myself. Okay, that's the short version of where your head needs to be. Here's a long version if your ego is, really stubborn and covered in old man belly fat. I've been making the marketing decisions to date, but I'm going to fire myself and hire a real head of marketing who can take this to another level because I'm the average one, and I don't want average anymore. Be aware of these hidden flaws in founder attitude before you begin a hiring process for an above-average functional executive. Don't go in cocky and blind. That's all I've got for you this time, folks. And remember, as always, be safe out there.
Thanks for listening. Remember, Dr. Richardson has loads of resources for founders at premiumgrowthsolutions.com. And when you're on his site, don't forget to take his Founders Quiz and see if you're ready to ride the skate ramp of exponential growth.